Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Good whatever time it is for you. It really doesn't matter. What matters is I hope you're watching this video in time, because there's a very real shot that Nvidia, the king of the stock market this year, ticker symbol NVDA, will be hitting a new all-time high. And I'm talking this week. So in this video, I want to break down what's going on, because I know that might sound a little bit outlandish, a little bit bombastic, if you will, because we've been hearing that news time and time again. Ticker symbol NVDA, Nvidia stock, new high, another new high, another new high. And I'm here to report that this week, we might be running that back and seeing another new high. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything you should be paying attention to. Before we get to that, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. With that being said, let's rock. After the market closes this Wednesday, I'm talking November 20th, Nvidia will be reporting its earnings, and shortly after that, it will be having its earnings call. Obviously, when you have these types of binary events, as in beating earnings or missing on earnings, yes, you can commonly associate that with large stock moves, especially when you're talking about currently what's ranked as the world's number 2 publicly traded company, which has a market cap of $3.4 trillion. So when this stock goes up or down by X%, yes, billions of dollars are either made in value or lost in value, and has a huge impact on both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 because it's so heavily weighted. In fact, if Nvidia does see a new all-time high this week, and I think there's a very real shot of that, obviously this would be associated with Nvidia reclaiming the spot of the most valuable publicly traded company. There are many things I want to get into, but let's start with the news. Let's see what people are saying about it. Why Nvidia stock is ripe for another surge. Oh, okay. Is everyone bullish on it? Obviously, the answer to that is no. Cash out ahead of earnings, says the top investor about Nvidia. But then what I find particularly interesting is on their own websites, Yahoo and also TipRanks, a little bit more searching finds the exact opposite. Stock rally stumbles with Nvidia earnings on tap. So all of a sudden, one going from bullish to bearish and the other one going from bearish to bullish. Nvidia and Tesla, billionaire Ken Griffin bets big on 2 Mag 7 stocks. So folks, that's where we are. It's where we've always been. Investors and analysts have no idea what's going on, and you might as well just flip a coin and hope for the best, right? Wrong. I think there's more of a mathematical way that we can dive into this, and I know that might sound a little bit crazy, a little bit hocus pocus, but just give me 5 minutes of your time, not even 3 minutes of your time. Let me explain. Yes, everyone has their own thoughts and opinions, bullish, bearish, hype, FOMO, all that, but let's see where people are actually putting their money. Because yeah, it's easy to talk, but I'm talking about walking the walk. Where are people placing billions of dollars of bets? So the first thing I want to bring to your attention is right here on Nvidia. It's just ripping. Currently the world's number 2 company, very close to being the world's number 1 company, trading at 139 as I'm filming this, and pretty much since 2020, higher highs, higher lows, impressive return of 182% year to date. That is impressive. But I want to get into the real money bets. Now that you have a snapshot of where Nvidia is, please pay attention to right where my cursor is. This is the biggest options bet right now based on all the publicly accessible options data, more specifically the gamma exposure, where the $150 strike, remember Nvidia is trading at 139, has about a gamma of positive, that's the orange, that's the vertical north bars of 154, and then the blue bars, those are the puts, only 37. So huge bets on the $150 strike, which is about roughly 8-ish% away. And then for those of you who are curious, well, what's the biggest bearish bet, the biggest negative bet? Well, what's really interesting about that is it's actually at the $140 strike, currently where we are. But what's crazy is even though that's the biggest bearish bet, as in we're analyzing puts, even at that strike, there's still more calls. Right here, as you can see on the screen, the call strike is 77 million as the put strike is 53. So regardless of how you're looking at this, the bulls are currently in control, at least according to the options market. Now let's look at the daily chart of Nvidia. Another interesting mathematical breakdown you can do when looking at options is look at the implied volatility, especially when you have an event coming up such as earnings. It gives us an idea of how big the market thinks the stock's going to move after earnings, whether positive or negative. And that's actually what these horizontal yellow lines are. I marked it out. According to the implied volatility right now, Nvidia is expected to move just over 8%, whether in the bullish or bearish direction. And based on the current price, that brings us to around 150, which would be a new all-time high, or down around 128-ish, which is a recent low. But also, please pay attention, just basic technicals here, higher highs, higher lows, taking a bit of a breather heading into a key event. Now, obviously, none of this video is a guarantee. I just want to let you know what's going on. And now let's get into a little bit more of the interesting nitty gritty. So right here, this is the term structure specifically for Nvidia. And you can see how the implied volatility, which is on the y-axis right here, actually gets crushed. And the reason I'm bringing this up is just because you might be bullish or bearish on something, and you could use this for any equity you're paying attention to. That doesn't necessarily mean the best play is buying calls if you're bullish, or buying puts if you're bearish, if you're an option trader. Sometimes you might want to do the opposite. If you're bullish, you might want to sell puts, and if you're bearish, you might want to sell calls. And a lot of that has to do with the value of premium, because premium per day is not made the same. So right here, see how this is all green for, guess what? This Friday's expiration. That means premium on a relative basis, Nvidia now compared to Nvidia historically, is very expensive. So I'm not telling you to be bullish or bearish. I happen to lean bullish, but hey, do whatever you want. I'm just letting you know that all premium right now is very expensive. So it might be a little bit better statistically, and also might protect you more to do something like a spread rather than just going long premium. And the final thing, just to drive that point home, is this teal line right here. This is 30 days out. This is obviously IV on the left side, and then just the various strike prices on the bottom. You have a put skew down here, a little bit of a call skew, but once again, this teal green line, that is for 30 days out. I figured let's take a look into what's happening, right after earnings. Earnings are Wednesday. We have expiration on Friday. I'm talking about November 22nd, this Friday. Look at how much the IV as the whole is just dropping. This whole gray line, huge put skew, huge call skew, that is for this week. So this is another mathematical representation to look for what's referred to as volatility crush. So I wanted to present all these numbers to you that yes, the market right now is betting on about an 8% move. Analysts have no idea if they should be bullish or bearish. In the options market, we are seeing more of a skew favoring calls, as in more of a skew favoring the bulls. But if you want to be bullish, if that's your opinion, it might not be best to buy calls. It actually might be better to sell puts. So I just wanted to share that with all of you rather than just guessing and the FOMO and all the hype. I wanted to give you clear-cut numbers that the biggest bet coming into the earnings announcement is on the $150 strike, which also happens to be the upper end of the implied volatility move for Nvidia. Obviously, I would love your thoughts and opinions. Leave me a comment below. I love to read all those. I want to know where your mindset at. And my biggest question is, going into earnings, are you bullish or bearish? You think this thing's going to gap up, or you think it's going to gap down? Let me know in a comment below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a beautiful day. Peace.